Welcome, everyone. This is the Internet Society Board meeting number 193. To start us off, may I ask if anybody needs to declare a conflict of interest for today's meeting? Seeing none, our first item of business is the Election Committee report. Thank you, Sagarika, for that submitted report. Does anybody have any questions for Sagarika on the report? Okay, seeing no questions. I want to extend the thanks of the board to the elections committee members, both the members of the board and from the community who served and helped run the most recent election. Your service is much appreciated. The next item of business on the agenda is in reference to a challenge to the results of the election, which was received by Sally as CEO of ISOC. If you'll excuse me for a moment, I have lost my agenda somehow. Sally, do you want to tell us when you received a report and any other details about it that we may need to know?
Thanks, Ted. Yes, we received a challenge from Kevin Maynell on April 1st, 2026. It was sent to me consistent with the procedures for selecting trustees. He cited the narrow margin of the results and raised a few concerns about the process. We did a thorough review, including consulting with the chairs of the Nominations and Elections Committee, and we have concluded that the election was conducted in compliance with the procedures for selecting trustees and ISOC governance policies. There were no procedural irregularities that occurred that disadvantaged any single candidate relative to the others. So with that, we would pass it back to you, Ted.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the audit and other materials which you provided to the board. We do very much value the work you and the staff have done to make sure that each of the questions which were raised in the challenge has been answered and the information provided to the board. With that, the proposal at this point is to have a resolution, which, given the information that we have received, would be to uphold the election. And that resolution reads, Resolution 2026-X, challenge to the 2026 election results. Whereas the Internet Society Board of Trustees has received a challenge on the 2026 election results, resolved that the Internet Society Board of Trustees rejects the challenge and authorize the ISOC President and CEO to advise the challenge author of its decision. Is there any discussion of the resolution? May I ask someone to move the resolution? Barry and Brian, thank you very much. Because of the nature of this particular question, we will take a roll call vote in order to determine the outcome. Lauren, would you please take the roll?
Funke. Funke, are you able to come off mute?
Yes, I am.
Could you record whether you were in favor of the resolution, abstaining, or voting no?
I'm in favor. Yes, I'll put a virtual hand raise.
Thank you.
Romano.
I'm in favor.
Brian.
In favor.
Ted.
In favor.
Maureen.
I'm in favor.
Russ.
I am also in favor.
Victor.
In favor.
Barry.
In favor.
Charles,
In favor?
Kathleen,
I'm in favor.
Caleb,
In favor.
Laura,
In favor.
and Sagarika.
In favor.
Thank you very much. With that, I believe the resolution passes. And that concludes this item. Is there any other business for the good of the order? Having none, we are adjourned from this meeting. Thank you very much.